Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your timeless path of true love. Read with and extended on Vimeo and on Patreon. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998. 24 years in service at the time of this timeless recording. Author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Available on Kindle. There's a link in the description box. You can preview the first bunch of pages for free. And I am a creator on Patreon. Patreon.com/drawingthecircle. All levels of my subscribers, humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses, at the time of this recording have access to all of the extended readings, past, present, and future. It's my field day. It's my creative outlet. I love it. Still within community guidelines. It's not OnlyFans. Because I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. So you can call me Mal. Yeah, come Patreon on Patreon. Good stuff going on over there. Streaming pretty much every morning. YouTube live stream, unlisted link. So you can come chat with me. Cup of coffee, talking about the day's magical and spiritual applications according to the astrology and all that jazz. Always ending with a little prayer blessing thing. But enough of that. Let's get down to business. We are doing a classic Celtic Cross with some other cards thrown in for your Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign and Cross Watcher Path of True Love reading. There's a bunch of links in the description box about the Path of True Love, about twin flames and soulmates, but to boil it down, to put a fine point on it, the Path of True Love is your hero's journey, your healing journey, your spiritual awakening journey, however you want to see that through the lenses of your relationships of all different shapes and forms and vibrations. So we're not just looking at romantic sexual. That's why I do the romantic soulmate reads with extendeds. This is about all sorts of different relationships, helping you to become the true love that you are at your core, were it not for the excess marble around the divine statue. In other words, Michelangelo, the artist, not the Ninja Turtle. When asked how he created the David, he said he did not. The divine created the David. All he did was chip away the excess marble. And there's the process of spiritual awakening, chip by chip by chip. So it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what does not, and check your other signs for more information about the contract we're about to look at, maybe another contract, because chances are one could be family, one could be a friend, one could be a boss, and one could be a lover. You kind of get the idea. The common denominator is you. That's why the Path of True Love readings are about you. We're going to have person number one, person number two, contestant number one, contestant number two, I like to call it. So you're going to have to kind of suss out which one you are at the center of the Celtic Cross, and sometimes there can be a lot of mirroring, and that's why in the extended we're going to add a whole lot of cards to that. But I'll explain that as I go, I guess. Otherwise, both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. And I will do the best that I can to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace, the GPS point of view, the Google Maps indication, higher POV, to help you navigate your way on the path of true love, becoming more true love than ever before. I'm keeping my eye on a feline right now who's acting a little shady. See what's going on. Distractions. What are you going to do? But so also that you can anchor that energy of true love, which is truth and love fused as one, I know, onto the planet in a time where most desperately needs it. Because the truth is the biggest illusion is we're separate from each other, and we're not. And that is what is at the core of all of our problems. Issues, pain, and suffering. Please take a nice deep breath. That's a good note to launch on. Breathe. Where personal becomes planetary, right? Still point. And here we go. As we heal one relationship, we heal all relationships little by little as I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, the angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the path of true love, and the higher selves of all involved, fifth dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, please, my beloveds, using the Caroline Mace Archetype deck. What are the two dominant 8th chakra archetypes hovering over the head? One over the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and one somebody crossing their path, maybe a cross watcher. To help them navigate this, please give us contestant number 1, their 8th chakra, affecting all the other chakras underneath it, shifting the electromagnetic dealio equation of what they attract and what they repel, and who is crossing their path, good or ill, friend or foe, lover, friend or boss, or anything else in there. These are already in the title. Let's see how brave you are. We've got an exorcist and a priest. Oh no, beware of pea soup when having company. Oh dear, 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 the exorcist and a priest. Mario Puzo. White courtesy telephone. Wow. Okay, well, the thing is, they're both divine family archetypes. There are 9 different families, categories of archetype. These are both in the divine family, as it would make sense, particularly since the Exorcist is incredibly close to the shaman archetype. There is no shaman archetype in this deck, but this is really close. So the shadow and the light indicates, what's written on the card here, indicates the lead to gold, the pain to peace, right? The illusion, the truth, which is really what the path of true love is about. It's about alchemy. It's about shifting, healing, growing, evolving, often through the alchemical furnace of relationships, burning away that which no longer serves. So let's look at the priestess archetype. The shadow attribute is stuff you don't want to look at, stuff you don't want to deal with, and if you are looking at it or trying to deal with it, you don't want anybody else to know, right? You keep it in the shadow. And I think we know what the shadow priest or the shadow priestess is. Violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role, which is, by the way, part of it. I was a high priest and an elder of a coven, really large one on Long Island, for a very, very, very long time. I'm retired. Never again the coven times. And we all go through that. I saw it happen within myself a little bit. I saw it happen in other people because the ego takes over. Right, the shadow. And then they're just better than everybody else. I'm a 3rd degree. Oh, who gives a rat's ass, right? Except you and the gods, and that's enough. The light attribute facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And by the way, if you're serving as a channel of spiritual energy, which we all are on some level, you can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. If you're like Reiki, right, that's channeling spiritual energy, right? You're a light worker. So this is a specific kind of archetype, but it has a very general application in terms of the form it may appear in, in the outside world. Let's talk about the Exorcist. There's so many lines from that movie flooding into my head right now. We're going to ignore those. The shadow attribute, fear of facing your own demons, which who ain't got that? What are our demons? It's our unhealed pain. It's our repressed rage. It's our guilt, our shame. Push it down, down. Mine, right? Push it down. Eventually, it comes, well, what's the opposite of an angel? Is a demon. What is a demon? Have y'all watched Good Omens? Have you read the book? Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman. They're angels and forgot who they are. Lost their wings, so to speak, except for, Crowley. On his. So the fear of facing your own demons, your own fears, which what does that do? It pushes it down into the cell tissue and into the collective unconscious, right? This is why as you heal you, whether you're the priest or the exorcist, shaman, whatever you want to call it, the more you heal this, the more you're healing humanity, chipping away some of that excess marble. The light attribute, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. We all have destructive impulses. And by the way, destruction is part of the cycle of creation and destruction. I mean, thank God for stomach acids. You could eat all you want, but you wouldn't be able to break it down and absorb the nutrients, the proteins, and all that, right? So we're talking about the real destructive, freeing oneself of those demons, right? The Exorcist. And you can do that more than just holy water. Sometimes just listening to somebody, right? And being that space for them in the rite of confession, talk of the priest there, which is really what a lot of therapy is about, right? It's safe space to do that, to confess, to get things off your chest. But of course, that can take more visceral forms as well. All right, let's see. You got to say, a spiritual couple, except everybody's spirit. Here's what we're going to do. In part one, we're going to take the Mythic Tarot to represent the lower 3 chakras. We're going to look at this now from the outside in, inside out, relationships in the world. We'll get 10 of these, and we'll do 2 Whispers of Love Oracle, one from the higher self of the Priestess, one from the higher self of the Exorcist, a Matt Kahn healing mantra to end this puppy with, and in the extended we will take 10 Daughters of the Moon Tarot and look at the internal world, the heart, throat, third eye, crown, giving you full chakra spread on these 2, as well as the Celtic Cross. Then we're going to Oracle Land. We're doing the Kuan Yin Oracle, the Blue Angel Oracle, Whispers of Ganesh, Journey of Love, the Blessed Bee deck, chakra reading cards, Healing with the Angels Oracle, the Divine Animals Oracle, and I think that's probably about enough. They're running at least an hour, the extendeds on Vimeo, and I got my patrons, get them all with their subscriptions, all levels, all tiers. So let's lay down a Celtic Cross. It really is my favorite spread of all. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Okay, here we go. As I call upon my gods of water, the sign of Scorpio, powers of the West, please, my beloved gods of depth and transformation, the river Styx and the underworld and all of that. Ooh, that Plutonian vibe. I can feel that. Please, 1 card in clarity each of 10 cards. Celtic Cross for the Scorpio Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and Cross Watchers watching this video and receiving this reading in this Priestess, Exorcist contract on the path of true love. Let's look at that Priestess. What's going on, lower 3 chakras? The Moon. Well, we're starting off with a major arcana card, and Hecate, talk about a chthonic goddess for a Scorpio reading. Queen of the Crossroads, Goddess of Witches. The Moon card certainly means that there is a mystery here. There are things perhaps occluded. Like the word occult is the root, but you can have an occlusion in your eye. If you have contact lenses, you get one of them floaties. What is that, right? All of a sudden a cloud goes across this eye, but not this one. So it could be cloudy with a chance of meatballs right now, or they could just be really, really deep into their emotional stuff. This is a Scorpio read. If this is the Scorpio, then there is most likely some energy moving through here of a more mystical nature, meaning mystery, which is very Scorpio, right? Hidden influences. Let's just look at this Exorcist and see. My gods, lower 3, and when it's a major arcana card, lower 3 chakras, it's all 3, right? Where a fire, like wands might be the solar plexus or something like that. So let's see, my gods, that Exorcist crossing their path. Page of Pentacles. I think this showed up very similar in another reading. Page of Pentacles in this position, where this person's holding an offer, right? Holding an opportunity, holding a seed. Pentacles, element of earth, an opportunity to plant something and watch it grow, and certainly the message therein. So chances are these 2 people know each other. I mean, the vibe on the priest with the moon, priestess, like the moon priestess, if you want to go there. I mean, Hecate is one of my goddesses my entire life. There is definitely some deeper stuff going on, but I'm going to say, like with the Scorpio, from the Exorcist's point of view, they might have no idea what's going on with this priestess, because they are occluded, hidden, cloudy, obscured, with a chance of magic meatballs. So that's interesting, you know, delivering an opportunity here, a fertile seed to be planted or disposed of. Choices, choices, choices. What's at the core of this? The unknown. Yeah, or the unconscious, what's going on underneath this all? The Ace of Wands, Zeus issuing the call to the quest of the Golden Fleece, which Jason takes eventually and does the deal on that. So there is a new beginning here. There's a new impulse. This does feel a little solar plexus in terms of both of them might be feeling, oh, what's that? Why is it in my solar plexus? What's going on there? Which could certainly make a priestess with the moon pull back, right? And say, oh no, all is well. Glamour, 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 glamour. The original kind, not so much the magazine kind, although we like that too. And of course the Exorcist there, kind of matching, because, you know, all the pages have the ace in their hand of their respective elements. So the Page of Pentacles would have the Ace of Pentacles in their hand, sort of offering that matching with that Ace of Wands, an initiatory movement, whether either one of them are aware of it or not. What is in their behind? What's in the Scorpio collective's behind? What's behind them that got them to this crossroad? The Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading. That's the one. And we got the High Priestess. There we go. All right. All right. So I'm going to say this is really has to, I would think, be connected to this priestess archetype here. This is Persephone underground. Persephone, no longer maiden of spring, no longer lady of summer. She is here, queen of the underworld, holding aloft her torch, eventually guiding the way for souls. A true force of compassion, because the underworld is not hell. Tartarus isn't even hell. Tartarus is like rehab by fire. As far down from the underworld as Tartarus is, the underworld is below this world. So, you know, you got to get their levels of consciousness all the way through. So, you know, the High Priestess is very connected to the moon in the sense of that silent, perhaps occluded, perhaps secret stuff. Except, here, look at the pillars on the card. You notice there's a black one on this side and a white one on this side? Just saying. You know, this is about being that channel of spiritual energy. Certainly more correlative to the subconscious mind. So whatever went on here, whatever secrets that were being kept, at least from the outside looking in, again, if it's Major Arcana, it's all three of the lower chakras in these types of readings. This kind of definitely feels more solar plexus. This could feel definitely more root chakra, right? You can place those energetically in a general read. You do the best you can. But maybe there was guidance, grace, intuition being channeled through here that now this priestess is being a little confusing about. I doubt confused, but more kind of feeling it out. And remember, just because the mind doesn't understand it just yet, right, doesn't mean you can't feel it. You can feel it without taking action on it while you feel things out, right? It's very Scorpio. But there is this Ace of Wands underneath this, like lighten, you know, a little pilot light under the water there. All right. What crowns them? What's hovering in the air? It can be delayed but not prevented. Choices, 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 acts of free will. We all have them. We have the free will to choose between the options, but we don't get to choose what the options are. So please, what crowns this Scorpio collective and cross-watcher read on the path to true love? A second page. But the Page of Cups here, Narcissus, doesn't that automatically mean that there's a narcissist on the table? Maybe, maybe not. Remember, there's a whole pantheon of narcissists. It's not just the aggressive narcissist. There's the passive narcissist and the covert narcissist and the malevolent narcissist, right? It's like a whole toxic Tartarus pantheon there. Here we are looking at self-reflection. We're looking at an opportunity and a message of love hovering, given or received. It can very much also be giving that cup to yourself, giving yourself the time, the space, the opportunity to drink deep of your own love, because there's a very specific frequency of love that we each have, that we give to other people. But that very same frequency we need to give to ourselves, because no one else can give that unique frequency to ourselves but us. You know what I'm saying? Your own little radio station. I'm going to turn that up every now and again. I kind of like that. I like the two pages going on here. To me, the pages don't necessarily represent people. They are messages that come via messengers, and that can be on the news. That can come all sorts of different ways, right? In email. Yeah, someone's sending the email, but, you know, if it's for pretty kitty litter, you know, get what I'm saying. By the way, I got pretty kitty litter. I have 3 boys. It's really helpful. That's not a plug. That's just a telling you. All right, what, my gods? Back out of the kitty litter, back to the reading. It's pretty, though. Still point. Yeah, my gods of water, sign of Scorpio, powers of the west. What's before them? Just around the corner, right? They keep going in this direction. They do not delay what cannot be prevented with that Page of Cups in some way, shape, or form. Where does that lead them if they do that on the path of true love? This reading is reminding me of another one that I did where the Emperor is either in this position or it was in the 8th position. Zeus. There he is. I mean, you got him twice on the table, but they're two different cards. The Emperor is the Spirit King. It's all of the kings, the cardinal signs of the court cards. Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn all together. So you got a lot of major arcana so far. Really, past, present, future. High Priestess is behind you. Hecate, right, for the Priestess. And then Emperor. This is feeling kind of like it's really more for the Priestess and the Exorcist, but we'll see. Again, you got to feel this out for yourself, because you're definitely either, feeling this, both of you, this new, ooh, what's this? I think I like this. I don't know yet, right? And really keeping it hidden, but it does feel like that Page of Cups hovering might be for that Exorcist archetype there, holding the Page of Pentacles, with the Page of Pentacles. So with Zeus there is a control thing. There is a father energy, a husband energy, a boss energy, regardless of gender. It is the divine masculine major arcana card, like the Empress is the divine feminine. So definitely that shows a real strength here. And, an emperor doesn't necessarily tote that barge, lift that bale. Even kings do what emperors tell them to do. Look at that hierarchy. Just like Zeus, king of the gods, right? Can throw lightning, can change things in an instant. That's why he's got, if you look, lightning bolts in one hand and the globe, the planet on the other. But that can be really wonderfully structured too, in a very, very positive, healthy way. All right, interesting cross. Let's look at the staff, the more universal, mystical stuff. My gods, what is the lesson you would have them learn? Two of Cups. All right. This is why I say these are not always immediately romantic, sexual, unless certain cards show up. And I would say this is a pretty good indication. We all know the Two of Cups. This is Eros and Psyche. Eros pricked himself on one of his arrows. He was supposed to shoot Psyche dead. His mother Aphrodite told him to do so. Pricked by one of his own golden arrows, Caesar falls in love, but does not want her to see him face to face, because everybody who sees Eros, the god of love, falls in love with him, and he wants to be loved for who he is. This is the attraction. That's why they're both I don't know if you can tell in this lighting. They're both facing the same direction. She's not looking at him, and he is in love by his own magic, by his own divine magic here. So Two of Cups is not necessarily a true love all the way through. It's that attraction. It's that mutual kind of like, I like this. And with this Ace of Wands here, the lesson is you are learning about the emotional part of this Two of Cups situation you find yourself in. I do get the feeling it's kind of mutual, but I don't feel like anybody's really laying that on the table, although the Exorcist with the Page of Pentacles may have done so or may do that. So from the outside looking in, how does the world see this? These two, this contract horizontally, lower 3 chakras, please, my gods. And we've got the Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's a bit of a mental standstill here. A little blindfolded and bound. There could be a no-go on communication right now between these two. And I want to say it between a rock and a hard place, but not really. It's between Apollo and the Furies. I mean, piss off one by agreeing with the other. A little tricky there. But it's mostly mental. If these people are communicating with each other, I would say that there's a lot to be cleared up there. I just want to look. A lot of confusion in the air, a lot of beliefs blindfolding and binding their hands from doing things. This maybe is not directly in between the two of them, but stuff they've carried, psychological patterns passed down through generations, or unhealed experiences, the lead getting in the way here. I mean, not that Eight of Swords is always a nightmare. That's the Nine of Swords, and that's not even always a nightmare. But it is a good opportunity to really stop and take advantage of looking at what is it that I really believe about this, and is it the truth? Because that's mental, where what you're feeling, what somebody's feeling here, is pretty damn deep. When it's a Scorpio read, that doesn't shock me. All right, I think the most important card in the spread, here we go. My gods, what is the destiny that they craft from their fate, right? The gold within the lead. Where are they? On the path of true love. The hero's journey aspect of it. Fate they cannot change, but what they do with it determines whether they suffer their fate or manifest their destiny. In this Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign, and Cross Watcher, path of true love reading, lower 3 chakras, their fate, destiny, which is also their hopes and fears, because you hope for your destiny, but you're terrified of suffering your fate. And you got the Tower, Poseidon, the Earth Shaker, and Zeus, of course, throwing in some lightning to help out. You know, brothers. This is a very, very strong placement. Your destiny comes on the outside right now by being struck by lightning, so to speak. An instant change or transformation. Now, the thing about the card of the Tower, it's the Tower of Babel from the Old Testament. But here we have a whole different scenario in Grecian myth. The idea of transformation is you can't, like, unburn a cookie. That's my example of transformation. But you can state change water vapor to water to ice and back again. Well, the whole idea of the Tower is that something is struck by lightning, reduced to its foundations, and then rebuilt. So is it a transformation where there's no going back? Maybe. But this can also be a bolt of enlightenment, particularly with that 8 of Swords. As truth comes in, light is truth, and here's Zeus holding the lightning. Where truth is spoken here, and but again, destruction is not wholly negative. It's neutral, right? Yes, there's some horrible destruction going on the planet in all sorts of ways. But there's also breaking chains of illusion, unraveling the ego, you know, again, the digestive system, the excretory system. You know, you kind of need all of that. Gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all. So that Tower might be a bolt of clarity that comes in and, like, particularly shatters this stalemate, which is kind of what it feels like. You know. All right. My gods of water, sign of Scorpio. Powers of the West. Last card of the major arcana, the most probable outcome. The most probable timeline of this lifetime for this contract, this priest Exorcist contract in the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and Cross Watcher. Path of true love reading. Where do they end up? Should they do their very best, cross every T and dot every I to the best of their ability, they end up in the 6 of Swords, which is not a moving away from somebody, but a mental balancing through the element of air, a journey of thought, perhaps counseling, communication, a good conversation, going from choppy water to smooth. You're going to work this out. There is going to be communication. And I have to say, it feels nice. It feels like, oh. All right, I'm going to give you a little quick story. I was dating this Aquarian a long time ago. And a really nice guy. I liked him a lot. And he would say, yeah, no, I'll call you at 7 o'clock. And, you know, the first time it happens, they don't call. You're like, all right, well, is everything okay? Whatever. The second time it happens, you're like, all right, whatever. The third time it happens, you start to get a little upset or a little weird. Really, I don't even wait for strike 2 anymore that much. And there I'd be, like, in my head, oh my God, he's dead by the side of the road, or he's seen somebody else, or, well, we're not really together anyway, rah, 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 rah. And then, you know, he would call me the next day and be just like, oh yeah, there was an orphanage that was on fire. Sorry I couldn't make it. I was busy saving burning orphans or something. That's an example. That didn't actually happen. But you get the idea. There could be a misunderstanding on the table here, hence all the mystery. Yet at the same time, there is a very, very strong mystical element. Spiritual and mystical are not necessarily the same thing. I'm going to say there's a real mystical flavor thread through this. So you got 3 more cards. We're jumping over to the extended lot. Remember, you get 10 more tarot in there, plus a whole bunch of oracles. So let's do the Whisper of Love oracle. Like I said, the higher selves of the priest archetype and the exorcist, I guess you could say collectives. And this is where the romance card and the true love card and spiritual connection card, it can turn the party. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Just give me that image of a wine glass when you make the woo sound on it. As I call to the higher selves of all involved, for this priest archetype and this exorcist archetype, fifth dimension and above, eighth chakra and above, higher selves. What is the whisper of love for this priest, exorcist, Scorpio collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, and cross watcher? Path of true love reading first for the priest, priestess. Please put you the right way even though you're face down. And since we're doing all of this hidden and mystical and shrouded, we'll have one there for the exorcist. Let's see. For the priestess with the moon, speak the language of love. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. Now, maybe that does start with you. Maybe that is talking to your fears, your reservations. But, you know, if you're in that high priest, high priestess, high muckety-muck vibe, thinking that you're just better than all of this stuff, well, the gods have a way. Pride doth goeth before the fall, darling. And that is toxic. That is hubris, right? And it's part of the journey. It's something we all go through. But chances are, with that speaking the language of love, that can be through prayer, that can be through spell work, but they got to be loving words, right? It can be through inner child work. So many different ways that can manifest itself that nobody needs to know about until you're ready to say something about it. But certainly, we have sitting there that there is a need for communication, and I think with that Six of Swords, that's sort of on the table. That is on the table. For the exorcist with the Page of Pentacles, miracles and blessings. There's a miracle in play here. Everything has its gift. So it may not be visible right now, but there's a miracle here. Now, it depends on your definition of miracle. There are two that I have that are, there are probably more than two, right? A miracle is usually something that defies natural law. Okay, water into wine, you know, shit goes down. There's no way that could have happened, and it did. That defies the not just the laws of reason, which are like this to begin with, but, you know, natural law, right? Physical, earth science law, that should not happen. The other is, as A Course in Miracles defines it, a shift in consciousness from a thought system based in fear to a thought system based in love, which you may notice is the foundation of the work that I do in my life in general, a student and teacher of Course in Miracles, but as a witch, as a spiritual teacher. That's why the alchemy, forgiveness, they would call it the Course in Forgiveness, except no one would read it, call it A Course in Miracles, but that is the shift in consciousness, turning the other cheek. I'm a witch that can give you scripture from different books. Isn't that wonderful? I'm a unity witch. So a miracle and a blessing is on the table here, and maybe that is very much what the Exorcist is bringing to the table to this, because these are both divine family archetypes. Just saying. So, last card down, shall we? Torch Ariel is across the room. Well, I'll give you the blessing. The nice big hunky chunk of selenite. How's that sound? My Torch of Ariel. It's over on the coffee table, I think. It doesn't matter. What's that beep beep noise outside? How dare you? Don't you know that I'm divining? Let's get this on the table. Please take a nice deep breath. No, not distracting at all. Still point. As I call upon the ascended masters of true love, please, my beloveds, cut through the distractions, drop it on the table. The most accurate, specific, blow their minds healing mantra from the Metcon Healing Mantra deck. We read it from the bookie book for this Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and Cross Watcher. path of true love reading to help them alchemize the lead to gold, the shadow to light, to do what they need to do on the path of true love, whether they are the one with the priest archetype with the moon on the outer, or the exorcist with the page of pentacles on the outer. Really lovely ending, Six of Swords, but certainly to be continued because it's a 6. Two of Cups is the lesson here, which is usually a romantic card. Speaking the language of love, miracles and blessings. There's a lot of major arcana on the table here. We got the High Priestess, we've got the Moon, we've got the Emperor, and we've got the Tower. I'd say that's more than enough. So please leave it in my hand, the specific, accurate healing mantra for this priest and this exorcist, Scorpio Collective and Crosswatcher, in this Path of True Love reading. Awakenings, inspired action. There's only what life is asking of me. This is a long conversation, but we're gonna, Reader's Digest it a little bit for you. And here's the selenite. And the blessing with at the end, the blessimation at the end. Look, awakening, inspired action. It'd be nice if we could take inspired action. It means action brought by spirit, right? Like you can be inspired to write a book, you can be inspired to key somebody's car. It's a spectrum from shadow to light, lead to gold. But the truth is that no matter what it is we think is going on here, and what we want to do, and how we think we can be in control, particularly if there are control issues ahead with that Emperor, life is going to have its way with us anyway. I think we see that in the world now. It's like you can do the best that you can to hack the universe, but there are just certain things that are written, that are scripted, that each soul must endure. Now, the content is the same, but the form is radically different. In other words, how I go through, I don't know, dealing with repressed emotion is going to be different how anybody else does. We're highly individualized units of consciousness that are all one thing. But there's a highly individualized curriculum for each and every one of us. So essentially, there's only what life is asking of me is very much about being in the present moment and saying, okay, this is what life is asking of me. Let me get centered here, right? And take the best action that I can. I can talk over any sort of machine. Watch me. Ask my family. Awakening, inspired action. There's only what life is asking of me. When you awaken inspired action, you are an open, willing participant in your soul's journey. And with all this hidden stuff there, right, at least for the priest, priestess, it does feel like the exorcist might, with that Page of Pentacles, might be more willing, right? But to just be willing to like play your role and take the hero's journey. You are ready, willing, and able to face any feeling or make any necessary change just for the chance to serve the cosmic plan of the universe. So imagine everyone on planet Earth shifting a little bit, speaking the language of love for miracles and blessings, right? To bring in the truth and take that journey of the Six of Swords in all different sorts and kinds of forms of relationships. That's the gig. You do you, everybody else receives the benefit of that as well. When inspired action has been awakened, you radiate higher frequencies of light for the well-being of all. So, you're faced with depression. All right, this is what life is asking of me. I gotta feel this to heal this. Depression, depressed often means deep rest, right? So we're all gonna find our way through that, because the more we heal the shadow within ourselves, there's less shadow in the collective when we don't see much violence. Let's just leave that there in all sorts of different ways. This mantra is ideal for overcoming self-sabotage, resolving boredom, and increasing fulfillment. And I do feel like this situation, this relationship, could be very fulfilling because of the spiritual, mystical aspect in it. Again, is this absolutely romantic? Well, there's definitely a heart-to-heart vibe arena, right? Definitely a second chakra emotional vibe going on there with the Two of Cups. So maybe this is they know each other in a more spiritual context, mystical context or capacity, but there's something there. The gods will have their way anyway. So it's only what life is asking of you. Believe me, the last thing I want right now is to be in another codependent relationship in any way, shape, or form. I've pretty much weeded them all out. And the vampires, should know better at this point to come knocking on my door. You ain't getting in. But that doesn't mean the gods aren't like, well, here's a non-vampire. Here's another slayer. Right? Here's someone who's done that dance, right? And a deeper conversation could absolutely happen here. But I do think there are some misconceptions in the way, some misunderstandings, which, you know, it's like Three's Company. The sitcom from the 70s, right? Furley overhears something and thinks it's this, but it's really that. I miss John Ritter. He was so cute. Probably still is. Well, his soul. So we're going to do a blessing summation. A blessed summation with a little piece of selenite arrow for you here. Usually it's my torch of Ariel, but that's it's elsewhere right now. And then we'll chat a little bit at the end so I can release the Scorpio Collective, get this baby on the computer, edit it, and then get ready for part 2. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Scorpio Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love, whether they be the priestess who needs to embrace facilitating spiritual commitments, maybe agreements between these two, and serving as a channel of spiritual energy, and so that this exorcist can free themselves and others of destructive impulses, particularly if there's a miracle on the table, because the priest might be in a bit of a cloudy time or not being very, very clear about who they are and what they want right now, hence needing to speak the language of love. And the Page of Pentacles of the Exorcist here, willing to step into this, right, to move forward, to make an opportunity here with the miracles and blessings, because there is the Ace of Wands, they're both feeling it, and there is the Two of Cups here, the lesson, but this is coming from a place of perhaps deeper meditation, but it's moving to a place most likely of action, of manifestation, of bringing this into physical form with the card of the Emperor, probably structured, right, probably with nice healthy boundaries in there, we would hope. First, there needs to be the acceptance of the Page of Cups, the emotional acceptance of this in and of itself, let alone any messages of love or kindness between these two. The language of love would be helpful. And yes, from the outside looking in, this looks like a stalemate. This looks like kind of a no-win, but it's all because of mental stuff. It's probably a miscommunication or a misinterpretation of what was said, and certainly a bolt of lightning coming in, a bolt of truth, light is truth coming in, Poseidon the earth shaker there to kind of start this thing over and clear the air, allows a journey by air, a journey of the mind, probably a communication going from the choppy water of the moon into hopefully more of that fun, smooth sailing vibe. And may they be blessed with all that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to alchemize from lead to gold, shadow to light, pain to peace, toxic to healthy in their own energy fields. And as they do, it contributes and helps raise this world in vibration little by little, step by step, often through shadow work, and that's okay too. That we may have a permanent paradise planet Earth, that we may have a world of unity, 5th dimension, and above 8th chakra, and above. All is the result of anchoring true love on this planet for their well-being, for our well-being, and for the well-being of all, and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. So it be. So it is. Nice. I want to go deeper on this. There's a lot of hidden, and I'm going to go in. Jump over. Yes, you can certainly jump over. Vimeo.com. It's the first link in the description box. Or absolutely, you can, for $5 a month, US dollars, you can get all of them, past, present, and future, as a human on my Patreon.com/drawingthecircle platform. Loving it so much there. It's such a good time if you're really looking for a deeper experience. Plus, I'm going to be moving my house, so they're going to get a lot of exclusive content. And I'm going to be sifting and sorting and maybe giving some shit away. A lot of magical stuff I'm not taking with me, but we'll see. And if you want more of me here, if you want more of me here on YouTube, absolutely by all means, subscribe. I'm not stopping anytime soon, even though I'm going to be moving to upstate New York from Long Island. That's going to be a lot. I just thought it was next year. It's this year. So hit the notification bell, because I put these out when they're ready. I can't burn myself out one more time doing this, and I won't. So thank you so much for watching. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed. And if you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mal explains it all for you. Just like Clarissa. I love you. Hail. Farewell, and blessed, blessed be.